Hey friends, welcome back. And welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing the end of the year book tag, talking about my end of the year TBR plans, which is delusional and hefty. So let's get into it. This original book tag was created by Ariel Bissett. Her original video will be tagged down below, and I will be sort of changing the questions just a little bit to better suit who I am as a reader, but the core of it is the same, kind of reflecting on how the year has gone and where I want it to end up by the end of December. And mostly also just sort of stress myself out a little bit about how much more I still want to read before the year's over, okay? Speaking of, the first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you still need to finish? Yes. You all know what I'm gonna say. Let's be so for real. Let's be so honest with ourselves. Let me tell you that the easy one is going to be Storybook Ending by Moira MacDonald. I started this today. I will finish it later today or tomorrow. So this one kind of counts, but it's a cutie little romance with a love triangle that the three of people involved don't really know the other two are involved. Make it make sense, right? But it's cute so far. I'm enjoying it. I will be finishing The Royal Assassin before the year is over. Mark my words. I've been reading it for a hot minute, but I'm also almost finally halfway through. It's going well. It's just a slow read, and I love it for that reason. Robin Hobb is an incredible writer. I love this world. I love her characters. I love how she writes. I just have to finish the book. I also am on book 2 of the Bloodsworn saga, Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. Love John Gwynne. He's my guy. The first time I picked this up, I got to page 33 and just haven't been able to pick it up again. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it, but I think that I wasn't entirely in the mood for this type of read at the time, and now I just haven't picked it back up yet, even though I will, and I know that I'm gonna have a good time because I loved the first book. I'm primed to enjoy this one. The timing just hasn't worked out yet, which is what it is. But I do know I'll love it. So a nonfiction that I'm slowly, emphasis on slowly reading is Writing the Uncanny, which is essays on crafting strange fiction. This is exactly that. Just a bunch of authors who have written essays on writing weird things and probably think pieces and advice and things like that on the craft and on structuring and maybe how they particularly think and go about writing these types of weird fiction. I'm just excited to read it. I think that it sounds right up my alley, and I'm still on essay 1. But, I won't finish this before the year's over. I know that about myself, but I'm just letting you know. I've started it and I do need to finish it. I've been slowly making my way through Mary Oliver's devotions. I'm having a great time, just reading through it slowly at my own pace. I'm not going to force myself to finish this one before the year's over either. This is just I am enjoying my time. And kind of the same exact thing with The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Both of these, actually, I started reading when Caleb and I went camping for a couple days. We just sat outside by the trees and by the fire, and we're just hobby jumping, and I started both of these nonfictions, and I'm just having a good time. Oh my god, aw. I kept a leaf from the camping trip. Wow, that's so cute. I'm so glad that I did that. That was a fun thing to find. Okay, the stack is actually bigger than I want it to be. I know 3 of them are nonfiction, and that feels fine to me because I don't read a lot of nonfiction. So reading those slower at my own pace, that feels okay. But the 2 chunky fantasies, I definitely don't want to be there. I want to finish them. Mostly because I know that I'll enjoy them. So, it is what it is. We'll get to it eventually, right? Question number 2 is, do you have a book to transition into cooler weather or the end of the year? I would say any high fantasy is a good answer for me. When the weather's getting cooler, I just want to cozy up with a really chunky book. I also love being sort of creeped out when it's cooler outside for whatever reason. That's prime horror and high fantasy weather to me, which is year round also, but especially in the fall and winter. And I'll give you a couple of the books that I have high up on my radar, which is The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. I've loved everything she's written. I don't think that one will be any different. Gideon the Ninth by Tasmin Muir. I have heard great things. I picked this out of my Greenhouse Compendium jar, which is just a big jar with recommendations from my patrons, and this was in there that I picked, so I'm going to be reading that hopefully by the end of the year, but it is Goodreads Choice Awards season, so that TBR is massive. I really want to read The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino, but I also kind of think that this book might be on a lot of people's best of the year, so So maybe I could save this for a like reading booktubers best books video. I'm hoping, because I really want to read it. And then One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig is actually my November book club pick in my Patreon. But I also think that this is a good book to transition into like cooler weather. I've heard that the vibes are very fall and autumnal, so I think that that would work. I feel like a dark academia is also warranted for this answer, like Catabasis by R.F. Kuang or The Incandescent by Emily Tesh, I think. Those are both on my lists for the Fantasy Goodreads Choice Awards. I'd be into reading those this season as well. And one more just for fun is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. That one is like a cozy fantasy, which is perfect for this season as well. Question number 3 is there a new release that you're still waiting for or needing to get to? Yes. The Strength of the Few. 100% for sure by James Islington. I will be reading that. I would say The Devils by Joe Abercrombie too. Like I'd be really excited to get to that one. So The Strength of the Few would be one that I'm needing to get to, and then the one that I'm still waiting for is definitely Brimstone by Callie Hart. I loved Quicksilver. Loved it with my whole heart. So obviously I'm very excited for Brimstone as well. Guys, question 4 is what are 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? This question is always a little bit redundant just because like all of these books that I've already mentioned, I obviously want to get to before the end of the year. I would say if I'm giving you 3 new books, because obviously I want to finish these, and the 4 or 5, whatever I gave you for the cooler weather transition books, I think I'll give you 3 others that I haven't yet mentioned. I think that you know that I have to put a Carl book on here. So I am on The Eye of the Bedlam Bride by Matt Dinneman. It's so chunky. I love them. I miss Carl and Donut so much, and this would definitely be one that I would love to read before the end of the year. My pride and joy. Honestly, I would also say Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu. I have been eyeing this for ages, and I know that the sequel is coming out, or if it's not already out, it is coming out really soon. Oh, and this one, okay, I forgot. Yes, I need to read The Rainfall Market by Yu Young Wang before the end of the year. This was on my 25 books to read in 2025. It's short. I should be able to do it, so this is definitely on that list. I want to say this is the last like standalone book that's on that list too. I feel like I've been doing a really good job, if I do say so myself. Question number 5, is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I would say The Strength of the Few by James Islington has a pretty high probability of that happening. I do think Hunger of the Gods could do a good job at that as well, because the first book really set book 2 up to be a little bit more focused on the magic and battles and world system and politics that John Gwynne is so good at making. So I do think that Hunger of the Gods could go really well for me too. Listen, I'm gonna go out of pocket and give you one that I saw on the horror list for Goodreads Choice Awards that I hadn't heard of before I saw it, but it's called The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I don't know, I could really love it. Mostly just because there's a horse in the cover, all right? I could also say When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, because I know I like Nat Cassidy's writing, and I have heard good things about this book. I don't know if either of them would be like my favorite book of the year though. Like that's an intense thing to choose. I feel like my favorite book of the year is likely to be a fantasy. So Strength of the Few kind of might have that unlock, honestly. If we're talking about new books, you know, that I haven't read yet. Then the final question, see it's so quick, is have you already started making reading plans for next year? What are a couple? TBRs, highly anticipated books, videos, etc. Of course I have ideas. Of course I'm always scheming, you know? Of course, every single year I'm so excited to do the Reading Booktubers best books of the previous year. I love doing the videos where I read your guys' best and worst books of the year. Those are so much fun for me. So January and February are always so eventful, and I just have the best time. Other than that, I'm definitely going to continue doing a lot of Read It or Unhaul It. I want to really focus on my own TBR next year, as well as book series. I want to binge some series. I want to do a couple new series on my channel. Like one will involve book recs for other booktubers and getting them from other booktubers as well. I have a very specific series name that I'm so excited about. I meant to start it this year, but life got away from me, and I am excited to make it happen next year. I plan on doing a couple editions of Read It or Unhaul It where Caleb is involved. I know you guys love Caleb. So do I. I love him the most, but I plan on having Caleb on the channel more. And I plan on just, you know, continuing weekly vlogs and sharing a lot of my very fun, exciting, cozy hobbies that I'm doing, like pottery and baking bread and just enjoying my time, you know? I plan on continuing to enjoy my time, and I love being able to share it it with you guys. I love having you here. If you have any recommendations or requests, please put them down below. Let me know if any of the books that I've mentioned you think I would love and I should prioritize. But at the very least, in the meantime, thank you for being here. I am so grateful, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe and like the video. That does help me out a lot. And down below, let me know what the one book is that you're so excited to finish before the end of the year. But if you don't know what else to say, then leave me the yellow heart down below in the comments. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. See you guys in the next one. Bye!